प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
Gurubhyo Namaha. We continue with chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, verses 31 to 35. The essence of Maharishi Bhagavad Gita. Swadharmam apicha aveksha न विकम्पितुम् अर्हसि धर्म्यात् हि युद्धात् श्रेयः अन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते यदृच्छया च उपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारम् अपामृतं सुखिनः क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम् ईदृशम् अधः चेत् त्वम् इमं धर्म्यं संग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापम् अवाप्स्यसि। अकीर्तिं च अपि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते अव्ययां। संभावितस्य च अकीर्तिः मरणात् अतिरिच्यते। भयात् रणात् उपरतं मंस्यन्तो त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्। And here is the English translation given by Maharishi Ji. So Krishna is saying, even if you consider your own dharma, you should not waver, for there is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a battle in accord with dharma. Now, if you do not engage in this battle, which is in accord with dharma, then casting away your own dharma and good fame, you will incur sin. Happy are the Kshatriyas, O Partha, who find unsought such a battle an open door to heaven. Moreover, men will ever tell of your disgrace, and to a man of honor, ill fame is worse than death. The great warriors will think you fled from battle out of fear, and they who held you in esteem will belittle you. Again, the last verse. The great warriors will think you fled from battle out of fear, and they who held you in esteem will belittle you. Now let's recap the verse 30 where we left off. He who dwells in the body of everyone is eternal and invulnerable, O Bharata. Therefore, you should not grieve for any creature whatsoever. Here, Bhagavan has given Arjuna all the understanding of the permanent nature of the dweller in the body and the impermanence of the body. And now he is asking Arjuna to respond to the call of duty, for that alone will help his own evolution and that of others. Now from the next verse onwards, Bhagavan talks about the duty, reminds Arjuna about his duty and his dharma. Bhagavan says, even if you consider your own dharma, you should not waver, for there is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a battle in accord with dharma. Here, dharma maintains the stream of evolution in life, and particularly for the Kshatriya who does not accept a just fight, wavers from this natural stream of evolution. He wants to bring home to Arjuna that to him, born as a Kshatriya, fighting is natural. It is his normal duty in life to do battle in accord with dharma and establish righteousness for the good of the world is the most glorious and justifiable way of fulfilling the life of a Kshatriya. And the Kshatriya is born to protect dharma at any cost. Moreover, the event of a war is a natural phenomenon. It is a process of restoring the balance between the negative and positive forces of nature. And to rise to the call of a war to establish righteousness is to respond to the cosmic purpose, the will of God. To live and die to maintain the law and order in society, thereby remaining a faithful instrument in the hand of God, is the privilege of a man born in a Kshatriya family. Bhagavan's purpose is to convince Arjuna that from the point of view of his duty, the only worthwhile course is to shake off his reluctance to fight and face up to the action for which he is born. Bhagavan continues, "Happy are the Kshatriyas, O Partha, who find unsought such a battle, an open door to heaven." By following his dharma, a Kshatriya serves to uphold law and order in society and maintains the stream of his own evolution. If he dies while fighting in this cause, he is a hero of cosmic life and gains the highest happiness in heaven. When a Kshatriya has a chance of battle, he feels happy because he gains whether he wins or loses. Victorious, he achieves glory on earth. Dying in battle, he gains heaven. So Bhagavan is reminding Arjuna that it is a good fortune for a Kshatriya when he gains an opportunity to be a part of such a battle. And what will happen if Arjuna does not participate in the battle? Bhagavan says, "Now, if you do not engage in this battle, which is in accord with dharma, then casting away your own dharma and good fame, you will incur sin." Here, what is sin? Sin is that through which a man strays from the path of evolution, and it results in suffering. Casting away your own dharma means falling out of the path of evolution. And this in itself is a positive sin. Now, Bhagavan, having reminded Arjuna of his great good fortune in being given this opportunity for battle, he immediately impresses upon him the danger of not accepting it. To abstain from fighting and so neglect his dharma would bring loss of fame and would plainly be sinful. Here, dharma and fame are placed together. In the 31st verse, Bhagavan began the argument on the basis of duty, about his duty and his dharma, which is to maintain the natural stream of evolution. He now wants to make clear also the nature of duty from the level of social considerations. It is important to understand here that the moral code of conduct in any society has dharma at its basis, whether or not the people in that society are aware of the inner workings of nature guided by the invincible force of dharma. The fundamentals of social behavior in every society on earth are based on this principle which governs the laws of evolution. Therefore, Bhagavan wants to analyze the nature of duty in the light of its influence on society, how others think of one's life, how others are affected by one's actions, and how others talk about one are here the main concern. So here the word fame covers all these points. Bhagavan is continuing to give the wisdom of Sankhya to Arjuna, and he is saying, "Moreover, men will ever tell of your disgrace, and to a man of honor, ill fame is worse than death." Here, Bhagavan lays stress on the importance of fame, not for the sake of fame itself, but to call Arjuna's attention to a principle of life. If he behaves in a way that will bring him ill fame, he will become a center of something unrighteous, and this will impair his personal evolution. Those who are esteemed are they who, living for themselves, live for others, and dying, die for others. Again, those who are esteemed are they who, living for themselves, live for others, and dying, die for others. Their lives are justified in the degree to which others recognize them. Their happiness in life is in proportion to the goodwill accorded to them. So, if those who have enjoyed goodwill and fame in society lose it, they suffer shame and misery, which is worse than death. Loss of renown for a once famous man is more than death to him. And Arjuna was the most famous archer of his time, and that is why Lord Krishna makes this telling point about the nature of a famous man. Bhagavan particularly wants to bring home this truth to Arjuna. The underlying principle of good fame in society is that when a man constantly does good, he becomes a center of harmonious vibrations which, enjoyed by the people around him, naturally create warmth and love in their hearts. That is why he is described in glowing terms by all. In this way, the good fame of a man is the criteria of his goodness, and ill fame the criteria of his badness. No one who is good could possibly acquire ill fame. If the vibration spreading from a man's actions that induce people to speak well of him or otherwise. So again, it is the vibrations which are spreading from a man's actions that induce people to speak well of him or otherwise. Bhagavan knows how to handle Arjuna in a psychological way. The way to uplift a man is first to remind him of the glorious aspects of his character and so gain a sympathetic response. The second step is to point out at once some delicate feature in the situation. And this is what Bhagavan does in the next verse by saying that the brave will attribute cowardice to Arjuna. Bhagavan continues, the great warriors will think you fled from battle out of fear, and they who held you in esteem will belittle you. Bhagavan now speaks to Arjuna of the great humiliation which awaits him if he does not fight. For a man of honor and reputation, this is a very telling point. Arjuna is being reminded of the different implications of ill fame. Bhagavan is helping him to break through the state of suspension by raising points that will touch his heart and mind and induce him to fight. Here ends the essence of the verses 31 to 35, chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita. Now I will add a few words. Bhagavan comes down to the practical level at which Arjuna exists and begins addressing his Swadharma. In each society, there are groups of people who are designated protectors of the society. And these are called the Kshatriyas, and they are the warriors, the soldiers who defend the country and countrymen. In the same manner, there are others who are designated to be Pandits and priests and bring knowledge and be as teachers in the society. And these are called Brahmins. Then there are the others who are dealing with business and commodity, and these are called the Vaisyas. And then there are all the other kinds of workers, the many helping hands that are need to to the society in all levels, in so many ways. And these are called the sudras. So this is the fabric. This is the fabric of the society, and the people who are designated to uphold the society is also based on their dharma, swadharma. And this is, the varna. It is called the varna, which became translated as caste in English. And these varnas are mainly based on the dharma and one's abilities and aptitudes, which we call it as gunas. Bhagavan is not worried about what you do. He is more concerned of where you are in the stream of evolution and what is your consciousness and what are the shortcomings and incompletions you have. If one is enlightened, one can do no wrong even if he kills, because even when he kills, the act is performed being established in his being, in the self, and not with a compulsion for any personal benefit. But if one is not enlightened, even doing a simple act of kindness or charity, he may be doing something wrong. It may be colored. There may be some expectation, some ulterior motive, and it may not be unconditional. If one is like Duryodhana, then one is motivated by the samskaras and the vasanas of fear and greed, pain and pleasure, victory and defeat, and then nobody can do anything right. Here in Bhagavad Gita, we learn how to be responsible. Normally, there is a gap between who you are and who you want to be. So when there is this gap, then something has to bridge this, who you are and where you want to be and who you want to be. Something more practical has to bridge this gap, and this is where the responsibility, we call it dharma, comes in place. So if it is dharma which is bridging it, then it becomes a possibility. All kinds of possibilities open up. But if something like greed or hatred or some other aspects bridge this gap, then naturally the dharma will not support it. Because we are still growing and we are still evolving, so there is always this gap between who you are and where you want to be and what you want to be and how you want to go get there. And this gap will remain until one attains perfection and one reaches the full potential. And this happens when one is enlightened, because then there is no I and mine or I and you. The duality is not there. Then what exists is only one thing, and that is non-dual, and you are the self. Let us look at what we can do on a practical level. It is important to understand that responsibility is not a burden and it is a power. Many people now in the society feel that responsibility is a burden. So Bhagavan again and again says, no, it is a power, it is a possibility. And this is the dharma, this is the individual dharma of everyone to be responsible. In general, one feels responsible for himself and for the family. But when this responsibility extends even to the community, then you can become a leader. The more you take the responsibility of people around you, then naturally your leadership quality expands, your leadership consciousness rises. It is important to understand that when you feel responsible for everything that happens in your life, you will feel that everything is joyful because nothing can make you powerless. So one should empower oneself with responsibility, and also when one is doing and living the whole life with responsibility in alignment with this dharma, then life becomes joyful, and the great feeling of the Prema Shakti or the power of love is unlocked. This is where we say there is the full development of the heart value. And this is fully seen with the growth of the God consciousness. When one feels that the being is full of this unconditional love. So when one develops this prema, this kind of love in that fullness, then this whole work and the responsibility becomes like seva, the service. Then you are not worried about the outcome, you are not attached to the results, and you are simply there to give and to enrich everyone. One moves beyond the fear and greed, because these are the ones which make people irresponsible. All of Duryodhana's actions and people like him are based on this fear and greed. So again, we always come back to being, thinking, speaking and acting and being aligned to Dharma, and this is our greatest protection. And finally, the decision to feel responsible for the whole cosmos is enlightenment. Feeling responsible for the whole and declaring to live by your feeling is responsible declaration. And this is called Nididhyasana. So Nididhyasana again is feeling responsible for everything and everyone around you in a far-reaching way. And so for the enlightened, then it is the whole world. And that is why always an enlightened being will say, I am doing the work for Loka Kalyanam. Loka Kalyanam. For now, we will end and we will continue tomorrow. Jai Gurudev, Loka Samasta, Sukhino Bhavantu.
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
स्वयं पद्मनाभः